Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for August 3rd, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a quick programming note. This will be the last pre-market report until next week. I will be out of the state here for a quick trip, so the next pre-market report you'll see will be next Wednesday morning. Alright, let's take a look here at the daily chart of the ES. Exactly what we were looking for played out early this week, which was any push beyond these highs. The first breakout from this tiny range was likely going to be a false breakout, and you were likely going to see the stops run in the opposite direction, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw price fail to hold above 2172s, and then we saw price sell off precisely off the previous week's close on Tuesday morning, which led to a significant sell-off down into the low 2140s, reaching a low of 2141.5. And that's exactly what we were looking for. Now, it's a little trickier. Are we going to see a little bit of a bounce back up as this thing continues to kind of form this expanding cone? Or are we going to see price fade off of this FOMC level, 2158.5, and continue downward into 2120? I don't really have a great answer to that right now. I just know that this fade was likely going to be seen, and now we have to see where the next key level to buy would be. I've made no bones about it that 2120 is a key area to watch, and any drop into that level could be a great buying opportunity for another attempt at new highs. Failure to hold 2120 would likely auction prices right back down into previous value or current value on a composite basis between 2075.5 and 2084. So that's what we'll be looking for here. How much farther do we pull back, if any? But the next pullback could be still a buying opportunity. Okay, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. On an intraday basis here, you'll notice that prices so far have been offered off of the previous session's close price. You see price kind of drop down off that area. We do have a range that's kind of developing here from 2154 down to 2140. That little trading range right there will be very important. We could be looking at fading new highs, fading new lows. You can see a significant 5-day LVN at 2154. That had been the area where we were talking to buy. We were selling 68s, buying 54s. Now we're below it, and bears are attempting to make 54s resistance. If price pushes above the 54s here, there could be a rally right back toward 5-day VPOC at 64.5. Otherwise, failure to get above 2154 suggests another rotation lower. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's crude oil. This is a daily time frame. Crude oil remains highly bearish. There's really no buying crude oil right now. This is something we talked about before. I mentioned that the next major buying opportunity will not come until 35s. The significant LVN down below, major pivot boss key level, that's likely the next area where you can safely buy crude oil. Right now, any bounce, no matter how big or small, is still a selling opportunity for another round of weakness. We have key levels at 39, 37, and also 35. So those are the next major levels down to play toward. And again, any bounce, 1, 2-day, 3-day bounce, it doesn't really matter, is still a selling opportunity until 35s are seen. Let's take a look here at the intraday time frame. Looking at the intraday time frame right here, basically what you see is prices pushed higher in overnight trading, attempted to hold above the 40.3 level, 40.3 right here. And that was the previous session, and attempted to push higher and failed. Once it failed to hold 40.3, prices dropped significantly, and now here in overnight trading we have a very tightly coiled range, and we're sitting below 40s. So if this thing squeezes above 40 here, it could be a short-term rotation back up to 40.3. It could be a move back to 5-day VPOC at 40.78. But again, it doesn't matter. If this bounces here, could be a selling opportunity. If it bounces here, could be a selling opportunity. You just can't fall in love with price going higher right now, as this thing is significantly bearish, and any bounce is still a selling opportunity. Okay, let's take a look now at gold futures. Here's a look at gold. This is a daily time frame of gold. We were looking for prices to bounce off 1306 to 1310 for a move into 1370 to 1380, and we got it. We got the move. For all intents and purposes, our trade has played out perfectly toward that target, but we could see a little bit more. We could see a little bit more strength up there into 1380 as price runs the stops above those highs. You can see not a great profile up here, not fully developed, so we could see price push into that area, and then we could see another drop back down. So again, if you got long off these levels and have been pushing toward these highs and have gotten paid, it's time to take some profits, time to lighten that load. We could see a little bit more strength here, but this thing could rotate right back down into 1306 to 1310, and then again, that could be another buying opportunity back up. Let's take a look at the NQ now. Here's the NQ. This is a daily time frame. Something we talked about yesterday in our trading room was the fact that the stops were starting to come out below the previous session's low at 47.20. And when the stops started to come out, what I mentioned to our trading room was the midpoint of the day was still way up here, the midpoint being this yellow dot. What I mentioned before was once the price starts to break through that support and the stops start to come out, typically speaking, you'll see that half of the day's range is above that stop level and half the range is below. So what we targeted was 46.80 in the trading room for a push downward. But what I mentioned is, should price reach 46.80, that could be a short-term buying opportunity. And we saw price rally right back up. Again, this is the biggest pullback that we've seen in the NQ, but the NQ has been quite bullish. So even this pullback could still be a buying opportunity. We've got to see how it plays out. But 46.80 is a very, very important key level right now. Holding above it still suggests strength or perhaps sideways movement up here. Failing to hold that level targets the next key level down, which is 46.25. All right, let's take a look here at the intraday time frame for the NQ. Here we go. Basically, again, we got a nice little bounce just shy of 46.80 by a point and a half. That was actually the 100% expansion target of the day, and we saw a price bounce. 47.20 is very important up here. You can see a nice little double top that we've seen here. So bears are attempting to make 47.20 resistance for a shot at returning prices to 46.80. I think any test in the 46.80 right now could be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. Above 47.20 opens up a return back toward highs. So right now, keep 47.20 as your pivot for today's early trading action. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the day and the rest of the week, and I'll see you all next week. Good luck and trade well.